Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video for you. I've got some new rake knives here, and I've got to first of all say a huge thank you to Rake Knives Canada. I will put their website down in the description box below, and if you want to buy any of these, I'm pretty well certain that they're available now there on the website for a very good price. At least, you know, they're not like it's not like going to, I don't know, Benchmade's website or something. They don't price that way. The price they have it at the website for is the same price that you're going to find it at retail stores. So that's the first thing I want to say. Huge thank you to Rake Knives Canada. I do want to thank them for one other thing, and that is they did send a knife over to be included in a giveaway that I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is open a giveaway up to anyone who has contributed to the GoFundMe campaign related to the knife import laws and challenging those constitutionally. And Rake Canada was kind enough to send a knife to be involved in that as well. I won't show it here. I'm going to make a whole video of that. I've got some other stuff that I want to include in that giveaway. And if you're watching this and you've got some stuff that you could give away, especially if you're a business, if you're a Canadian, you know, knife enthusiast, knife maker, whatever, and you want to contribute to that giveaway, feel free to do so. Get in touch with me and we will figure something out. Now, back to these knives. I've got to say, guys, you know, as a knife reviewer, you know, you try to be objective and cool, and, you know, you say, yeah, companies send me stuff for review sometimes, and, you know, that's great. And I just very objectively check it over and see what it's like. But I'm going to be honest, I was pretty excited to see these models. Okay. I really, really was. I will get into details on each one, but before I do that, I want to quickly show you the packaging. They have changed their packaging. So I don't see a rake box around here anywhere, but I'll just show you this one. They've switched to just a standard sort of cardboard box with an insert. And in here, you've got the bag that the knife is in. You've got some paperwork pertaining to your knife. There's a catalog, looks like this, and then a warranty card. So that's how they're doing it now. I'm sure that's, you know, considerable cost savings for them, and that's fine. And I don't know if this is true of all of their models. Okay, so if you order a rake knife and you get a different, you know, kind of box, don't message me and say, Kevin, what are you talking about? I got this. Well, that's fine. It seems like this may be the way they're going, at least for these models moving forward. I'm not going to speak to their other models that I don't have here. But it seems like a bit of a change, so I just wanted to share it with you. Now, let's share these model numbers with you, and then I'll get them off the screen and kind of go through them one by one. So you can see this bigger, beefier guy is the P852B, so P852B, and that's this guy with a big recurve blade. Next, we have this slim Wharncliffe design, P865B, and I'm assuming the B stands for black in all of these cases. I don't know if that means there'll be other colors or what, but maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe B stands for, I don't know, right-handed. P848B is the last one that we've got here. Now, some interesting knives here. I don't know about you guys, but I find all of these pretty compelling, pretty attractive knives. And so let me take these off the table, or take two of these out of the way and kind of work through these knives with you. Okay, so first up, look at this guy. Big, beefy knife, recurved blade, moderately thick blade stock. So the blade, it's interesting. The handle is super thick and hand-filling, which is extremely comfortable. The blade is a little bigger. We've got a 14C28N blade here in a satin finish, and they've done a really nice job on this satin finish. Recurve, top swedge, kind of this whole sort of, everything is sort of bent and curvy on this knife, and it looks pretty attractive. They've also done 3D machined G10 here, liner lock construction, single position pivot, or I mean, what did I call this? Let's try single position pocket clip. Wow, I don't know what is going on with my brain right there. Sorry, guys. Single position pocket clip. And let me take this out of frame for a second. I'm going to see. Well, sorry, guys. I'm not going to be able to tell you until we get to the full review. The action is really nice on this, so I suspect it's on bearings, but it could just be really, really well dialed in washers. Okay, let's grab a size and weight on this guy. And then we'll move on to the other models we've got to look at. All right, so what we have here is 8 1/8 inches overall, blade length of, yeah, about 3 9/16, and a handle length of 4 and, what do we got? About 11/16, so just over 4 5/8. All right. For weight, I'm gonna call this fairly heavy. Could be wrong, but feels pretty heavy in hand. So 5.55 ounces. All right, and yeah, that's, I mean, honestly, not a big deal. I could see this knife, I could see the design of this knife being very, very attractive to some people, myself included. It's a little thick, that would be the drawback, and I'll have more discussion about pros and cons and what I like and dislike in my full review. Every once in a while, by the way, I'll get people commenting on first impressions where I'm gonna just giving a quick overview of a knife and saying, well, why didn't you talk about this and why didn't you talk about that? And I'm like, well, that's because I'm just trying to give you a quick sense for the knife and then move on with life. By the way, I'll just say again, you can go to Ruike Knives Canada to buy these, and that will be in the description box down below. Next up, let's take a look at this guy. This is going to be a bit of an interesting knife. First off, let me show you closed. I love the fact that this blade totally disappears like that. From a design standpoint, I think that is really, really cool. Now, from a function standpoint, it does create a bit of a challenge to get the blade out. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but pretty much, unless you are have way more, manual dexterity than I do, you're not going to get this open one-handed. I've tried and I definitely can't do it. But it's not the end of the world to open two-handed. Beautiful knife. Out of all the knives that we've got here, I think this is the most attractive design. I love just the lines of this. I love the simplicity, the blue anodized liners. Really, really nice. There's a lot to really, really like about this knife. I am very, very impressed. So we've got, I guess I should quickly run through the features. I'm completely forgetting that. 14C28N on the blade steel, sort of a saber grind here. You'd expect to see a full flat grind on this, but it's kind of surprisingly not. Liner lock, nail nick for opening, single position, pocket clip there. And, hold on, let me get this open again. I don't know for sure. This is really smooth, so it may actually be on bearings, which, ouch, cut my thumbnail a little bit, luckily, but look how free dropping this knife is. Really, really nice action. So it may actually be on bearings. Now, the one thing that stands out to me right away, and probably all of you are yelling this at your computer screen, this knife is crying out for a flipper tab. If you did like a small minimalist flipper tab here, and I know you'd have to maybe mess with the detent and the geometry to get it to work right, but a flipper tab on this knife would be amazing. So Ruike Knives, if you're watching this, please, please give me an 8, what is this? Give me an 848F with the F standing for flipper tab, and I will be a very, very happy person. That would be just awesome. As it is, this is still a really, really cool knife, and I've been going on and on about it, and I haven't even given you a size and weight. So let me grab a ruler here. So we've got 8 inches exactly. In blade length, we're going to be dealing with 3 5/8 inches. And the handle length, it closes one-handed, it just doesn't open one-handed. On the handle length, we've got 4 5/8, pretty much right on 4 5/8. So not bad for size. I do like knives that are at least 8 inches overall, so that's pretty nice to see. And 3.64 ounces. So I may as well call it 3.6 ounces. Very nicely done. I really, really like this. I can definitely see myself carrying this an awful lot as sort of a gentleman's knife. I wouldn't go too crazy with it. It is quite grippy in the G10, but there's nothing, no kind of finger guard here, and there's no jimping on the back spine. So I wouldn't go and use this for skinning out an animal or anything, but for anything else that you'd use an EDC knife for, I think this will do just fine. I will say, every time I feel how nice and smooth the action is, you would not believe how smooth this is. It leaves me wishing that this knife had a different opening mechanism, because this knife would be so fun to fidget with if it didn't have the nail nick. Okay, let's move on to the next guy. Last but not least, Whoops. There we go. The 865B. Very, very slim Wharncliffe blade, bead blast finish. Just in case I didn't mention, the previous blade was also bead blasted as well, or some kind of media. We've got a thumb stud deployment on this guy, liner lock, and 3D machined G10. So one of the themes here, we've had 3D G10 on all of these, or we've had machined G10 on all of these. G10 backspacer here, which is kind of an interesting choice. What did this guy have? G10 backspacer on all three, by the way, just to kind of quickly to show you there. G10 on this guy and this guy as well, although this one is more open than the other two. Okay, so there you go. You got G10 backspacer there. No lanyard attachment of any kind on this guy. Single position pocket clip once again, so not very lefty friendly. Very smooth, nice detent though. I really, this knife feels good in hand. Overall, again, 14C28N blade steel. I'm pretty impressed with this knife, and I can see this knife being extremely, extremely popular. It just, one of the things that the last Ruike Wharncliffe, I'm not going to get the model number right. One of the things that it struggled with was it was really hard to get a hold of the thumb stud here. Not so with this one. This is really, really good. So let me grab a measurement for you on this one. So 8 inches overall. Blade length is just over 3.5 inches. So like 3 9/16 if you can see that there. Hopefully it's in focus. And the handle length is going to be exactly 4.5 inches. Let's grab a weight. This guy feels pretty lightweight, but it does have stainless steel liners, so that may add a little bit to it. Maybe it's just deceiving me here. Let's go ahead with that. Wow, 2.48 ounces. 2.48 ounces. That's wild. Really, really cool. So 2.5 ounces is pretty darn good. There you go. Let me grab all of the knives and kind of bring them back in and give you my general kind of overall take on these knives. Again, this is the P865. This is the 848. And the big beefy flipper is going to be the P852. All really, really nice knives. These designs, I've got to say, guys, are really, really attractive. I think Ruike has really got some nice knives here. I see all of these being very, very popular. I would say these two for sure are probably my favorite designs from them to date. Really, really attractive, really cool. They're just a great combination of being different and also, practical at the same time. They're just very, very impressive, guys, I gotta say. This knife, I like it better. I really like the design, and I think it'll be quite popular as well. Just a little thicker in hand than I would have hoped for, but otherwise, really, really nice knife. And I know some of you don't like recurves. For me, it's not a huge thing. Now, let me kind of give you my overall take on where I see these fitting. I think these two are just solidly EDC knives, all right? I don't think they're meant to be, for defensive use or heavy use. I wouldn't take them up to the bush or anything like that. This guy is definitely a little more heavily built, especially one benefit that people don't always think about. When you get a thicker handle like this, any really, really heavy use that you may be doing, by the way, this does have a secondary lock on it, so you can, essentially all that does is keep the liner lock from being able to be disengaged. I didn't really mention that before, but when you get a big, thick handle like this, it makes a knife very, very comfortable for heavy duty use. And so that's where this guy is going to shine a little bit more than the other two. Okay, so thanks a lot, Ruike Knives Canada, for sending this out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you'll go over and buy one. If you're going to buy one anyway, buy it from Ruike Knives Canada. Use the link down below. That does kind of, showing them some support because they're helping out the channel is definitely worth doing. Let's see. The last thing I want to say is don't forget to like and subscribe because I will be doing full reviews on all of these. And I've got to say, guys, I'd love to hear your comments on these designs. I am blown away. I really, really find these designs to be attractive and interesting and just all the things that I look for in a knife, and especially at the price point they come in at, which is quite reasonable. All right, there you go, guys. I'm done. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.